Hi friends, welcome back to Practicing My Prep with Wendy. Today I thought we'd talk about tourniquets. I went through my Go Get Home bag the other day, and so I figured it's time to practice using my tourniquet just to make sure I know how to use it, make sure all the pieces are there. So I have my tourniquet that we keep in my driver's side door area. And then if I needed to use my bag, I would just take it out the door, put it in my bag and take it with me. Because I don't know who's ever going to need it. Am I going to need it for somebody? You come across a car accident or something, and I can apply it and hopefully keep someone from bleeding out to death. I might need to use it on me, or maybe if I'm unconscious, somebody will see it and use it on me. So that's why I keep the instructions in the little baggie as well, in case they don't know how to use a tourniquet and want to try. Use tourniquets when it's you're willing to sacrifice that limb to save their life. So the bleeding is so extensive that you can't get it stopped with direct pressure. You can see that it's maybe you can see that it's from an artery, which would be like a pulsatile sort of flow that's coming out, and you're applying direct pressure and it's flowing and flowing and flowing. And you're worried this person's going to bleed to death. So putting on a tourniquet can be life-saving. In the old days, it was like, if you put the tourniquet on, you're definitely losing your limb. It's not so much that case now. Medicine has advanced. And so if you feel like you can't stop the bleeding and you need a tourniquet, use the tourniquet. The tourniquet's only to be used on your extremities, which means your arms and your legs, to stop excessive bleeding somewhere on your arms or your legs. You're not going to be able to use a tourniquet if someone's bleeding from their torso, chest, abdomen, pelvic kind of area. Bleeding from the neck, bleeding from the head is not something that you would use a tourniquet for. For example, you would not put the tourniquet around somebody's neck to try to stop the bleeding from their head. So tourniquet only goes on extremities, arms and legs. Those are the only places. And let's sit down and do a little run through and just practice and make sure I remember how to use it. Here we go. As you can see, there's Sandy and there's Max. They're gonna keep me company while we go through this together. If you find that you're bleeding or somebody else is bleeding, you're gonna grab something and apply direct pressure on it. You can use your hands. It's helpful if you have something that's absorbent, like I just have a washcloth here. A t-shirt works really good. So if I had an injury down here that was bleeding and bleeding and bleeding, you're gonna apply direct pressure and you're gonna hold pressure and hold and hold and hold. And hopefully the bleeding slows down and stops. If I'm holding pressure and it's continuing to drip and drip and drip and like I can't get it to stop, this is when I'm gonna start thinking about using a tourniquet. So I have my tourniquet here, so I'm gonna leave that there as a pretend injury site. All right, so the tourniquet is like a big strap. There's a Velcro strap. There's, I think it's called a windlass. I call it a rod that is attached to it. It does not come off. And this is where you're going to be doing the twisting to get it on really tight. And then there's these little like places to hold the rod after you've twisted it enough. And it has one on either side. So if I twist the rod one direction, it'll hold it that way. If I twist the rod the other direction, it'll hold it that way. So it doesn't matter which direction you turn this rod when you're trying to cinch down and stop the blood flow and stop the bleeding. And then there's also a little Velcro tab. A lot of times when you get a brand new tourniquet, it looks like this and it says time on there. I like to store mine with that pulled off and to the side So it's easy to see where do I put the rod when it's tightened down the way it's supposed to. And then after you have it all tightened down the way you want it, you're going to pull this across. Just helps keep the rod from slipping out. And then you're going to write the time that you applied the tourniquet. The time is important because emergency medical personnel are going to want to know how long that tourniquet's been on. And in a stressful emergency situation, time goes by very slowly and very quickly all at the same time. So it's nice to write down the time so that you're not guessing as to how long the tourniquet's been on. All right, so applying direct pressure, lots of bleeding. You can either slide it on like this over the person's extremity, or, sorry about the Velcro noise, or you can take it out of the loop and then slide it under if you don't want to move the extremity. Pull this up and cinch it down. If my injury's right here, you always want to go closer to the heart, above the injury, and you need to be some distance away from the injury itself. You are not going to put the tourniquet on top. That's a no-no. You don't do that. You go above it at least 2 or 3 inches or so, and then you're going to cinch this down. You're going to cinch the Velcro down as tight as you can. This will be uncomfortable. The patient will not. The person who's got the injury is not going to like it. It's going to be uncomfortable. You're going to cinch it down as tight as you can. And you can see it's like pretty tight, but I can still get my fingers underneath. See that? That's what the rod is for, to tighten it down so much that you cannot get fingers underneath. You can also check a pulse, and when you are cinching it down to stop this emergency bleeding, you will lose a pulse down in the lower extremity, whether it be your foot, your arm, your hand. And that's okay. That's the goal, is to cinch it down so much that the blood flow will slow down and hopefully stop to that area and save somebody's life by keeping their blood inside their body instead of all falling out of their body. So once you have it up, Velcro on, do not put the Velcro over the little notches here for the rod, because you need to be able to get that in and out. So then you're going to turn the rod and keep turning and turn it until you cannot get fingers underneath. I cannot get my fingers underneath there. And then you're going to put the end of the rod, it just clicks right in there, keeps it from unwinding. And then I'm going to put this over and write the time. I can also at this point check for a pulse. Again, trying to hold direct pressure, come back, hold direct pressure again, check for a pulse, and hopefully EMS is on the way and they can address this. Once you do put it on, it is not something that a regular civilian is going to take off. At this point, EMS is going to need to assess the situation, get them to advanced care, and at that point they'll decide when is the correct time to release the tourniquet, whether it be in a surgical setting is generally kind of where it would be. The other thing I wanted to say was you don't put a tourniquet over a joint, and a joint's going to be anywhere that kind of bends on your extremity. So your knee, ankle bone, wrist, elbow. You're not going to put them on there, you're going to go above it, okay? So if I had an injury up here, say, I would slide this up and I would go not on the knee, but above it and cinch it down up here. Let's try one on my arm where I have to apply it myself one-handed, because unfortunately, that's a plausible scenario that could actually happen. So if I had a significant injury on my hand, my arm, anywhere on my arm here, I'm gonna take something, apply direct pressure, hold, as long as I can. If it's still pulsing out and dripping, even though I'm holding direct pressure for minutes and it's still not slowing down, I might need to apply a tourniquet. You're gonna have to do this one-handed. That's when it's nice when I have it set up to be already a loop, because that makes it a little easier for me to slide this on. I don't have to thread it through the buckle. So I'm gonna slide it on my arm, save my injuries, right here somewhere. I'm gonna apply the tourniquet. Lots of noise with the Velcro, sorry. I'm just undoing the Velcro right now. The reality is I'd probably grab it with my teeth. I'm gonna pull it as tight as I can. Oop, drop my cloth. Pull it as tight as I can. And then I've got the windlass, or the rod. I'm gonna tighten and tighten. Make sure I cannot get my fingers underneath. Might see if I still have a pulse or not. Hold pressure again. And I don't have an extra hand to write the time, but I would maybe note it and try to remember if I was having to do this all by myself. Because it's important for the emergency medical staff to know when you put this tourniquet on. It's clumsy and hard, and it would probably be covered in blood when I put this tourniquet on. But again, I'm doing it because I feel like I'm gonna bleed so much that I might die. So I'm putting it on, doing the best I can. You can also go higher if your injury is up higher. You know, you can go all the way up to your shoulder area, as high as you can. Cinch it down tight. And if my injury was like here, we're gonna go 2 or 3 inches above the injury site. Turn my rod, make sure I can't get any fingers underneath the strap, and then I'll continue to monitor it. Hopefully EMS is on the way and I can get the help I need, or if you're helping someone else, they can get the help that they need. So everyone should have one of these. These are a life-saving device, and everyone should have one somewhere. We like to keep ours in the car, and it's fun to pull out and practice with it. So I'll just get it all set and ready again to store in my car, and hopefully never have to use it. But you never know. You could be at the movie theater, you can come across a car crash, you can be out grocery shopping, and you might need it or someone else might need it. And so it's a good safety piece of equipment to have with you, and it could save someone's life. So thanks for coming with me today. I am no expert in tourniquets. I'm not an expert in preparedness. I'm just doing the best I can, trying to be prepared and trying to have some knowledge so that I can take care of myself and my family and my friends in a time of emergency. So I wish you all a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.